This is Super Yacht News with E. Sisman. In association with Go Earth, navigating boat buyers to better deals. Hi, welcome back to the channel. So the vessel known as Rev Ocean, the repeatedly delayed vessel which is still in construction, now almost 5 years late from her original delivery date, and also often referred to as the largest super yacht in the world once completed, is now going into her final phase of outfitting and finishing, and it will be done at the Damen shipyard. Yes, that's right. Despite the best efforts of the marketing manager and the PR manager's wife at Damen Superyachts division, they've managed to land this massive contract for fitting out this vessel. The vessel has been delayed, like I said, a number of times, and was originally meant to be completed in 2020. In actual fact, when the vessel was launched, I was meant to be at that launch. I think that was in 2017. The hull was originally constructed at the Vard shipyard in Romania, and then it was towed to Norway to be completed. I was meant to be there, I think it was 2017. I couldn't go in the end because of work commitments. But the vessel was then towed to Norway, and then they found out it was delayed because of other reasons. COVID was one of them. There was other things going on there. It was really delayed by a number of years. So by this time it was 2021. And then they discovered the dimensions were wrong and it was going to be having stability problems. So they had to cut the vessel in half. That's right. They cut the vessel in half, extended it, or moved it out, and they put an extended piece in the middle, welded it all back together. You know, think about that. That is a massive thing. Like just thinking about cutting the hull and then putting that piece in the middle, but you've got to think of all of the wires and all of the stuff that was already inside there, pipes, everything. They all have to be extended. They've fabricated a pre-fabricated section, and then they put it in, and then they welded it back together. So they had to extend the vessel, and then they had to remove one of the decks also to fix those stability issues. There were further delays before that happened. Once they realized it was built incorrectly, then there was obviously a period where they had to decide whose fault it was and who was going to pay for those changes, and then that was finally done. Now the vessel is heading down to Vlissingen in the Netherlands for that completion. So the vessel is currently 4.5 years overdue. It's not scheduled to be completed until 2027 now, which will be 7 years late from her original delivery date. In fact, the vessel is so delayed that her owner bought another yacht in the meantime, as you do. He bought Scat so he had something to use in the meantime. Now, like I said, this vessel is often referred to as it's going to be the largest super yacht in the world, but it's not a super yacht. It's not going to be classed as a super yacht. It's going to be primarily a research vessel, research and expedition vessel to be correct. Now, people I often see in the comments when we look at a particularly large super yacht, people say that's not a super yacht, that's a cruise ship. Because they think of a yacht as a small personal thing with two people on board with sails and things like that. Well, that's a sailing yacht. These are super yachts, so they're super in size. The difference between a ship and a yacht, there's nothing in the construction particularly that's different. The difference is only because of the purpose of the vessel. A yacht is a pleasure vessel, and a ship is a commercial vessel, such as a cargo ship or a cruise ship or a tanker or whatever. Now, it gets a little bit murky because you have commercially operated yachts. So you have a yacht that can do a charter yacht like Motor Yacht Loon. That's a charter vessel, so it's registered as a commercially registered vessel, but it's still primarily a pleasure vessel. It cannot carry cargo, for instance. This vessel will be primarily a research and expedition vessel. It's going to be equipped with a lot of equipment for those expeditions, such as it's going to do scientific trawls. It's going to have sonar systems, laboratories, auditoriums for lectures, classrooms, as well as submarines. So some of those things super yachts already have, like submarines and sonar systems, but these are specific for ocean expeditions and research. It's going to also have the ability to clear plastics and stuff from the ocean. So it's definitely not a super yacht. The reason why it's mistakenly referred to as a super yacht is because her owner is going to have a section of the vessel completed to superyacht standards so he can use it when he wants to go on board. It's going to have all of the comforts of a superyacht. That's not going to be the whole vessel. There's going to be space for 28 to 34 scientists on board. They're not clearly not going to be staying in a guest cabin for a superyacht. It's also going to have 50 crew, apparently. This is according to Revotion's own website. That sounds low to me. I know it sounds like a lot of people, but if you think about vessels like Eclipse, they have a much larger crew than that. But Eclipse, for instance, has a crew of around 70. And this is going to be a commercial vessel as well, it does seem a little low to me. But they reckon there's going to be 106 people in total on board, unless they're in a polar region, which has restrictions. And then there's going to be 90 in total. So there's going to be 50 crew, let's say 34 scientists, and then the rest of those spaces will probably be in the super yacht section of the vessel. That's the reason why it's often referred to as a super yacht. Anyway, that vessel, like I said, going to be outfitted by Damon Shipyards and, like I said, completed in 2027 as long as there's no more delays. Now we'll move on to our next story now. This is about a yacht called, it's a project, every vessel that's in build is called Project something. Most yacht Kismet was Project Jag, and now it's, it's named, it has a project name. Also has a build name within the shipyard itself, which is usually the number, a build number. Now, Project Capdi, we mentioned recently in a video about Amadea. This was originally ordered by Edward Kutenitov. Now, if that name sounds familiar, it's because he is the chap who also claims to own Motor-Yacht Amadea, which is currently going through the court process in the US. The US government is trying to seize that vessel under forfeiture laws to sell it. He also claims to own Motor-Yacht Crescent, which is detained in Tarragona in Spain, which is connected to Igor Sechin, a yacht valued at around $700 million. And he also claims to own Motor-Yacht Scheherazade as well, which is another $700 million-ish yacht, which is linked to Vladimir Putin himself. And that's currently detained in an Italian shipyard and getting modified at the same time. Edward Kutenitov also ordered this vessel, which is within the industry known as his replacement for Amadea after he sold that vessel, allegedly, because obviously he's now saying that he never sold it, even though it changed from one company to another. And even though, according to the US court papers, all of the crew was talking about a new owner and having new owner lunches and new owner wine lists and references to the new owner and change of ownership companies and various other things, but apparently he never sold it. He just changed it from one company to another. That's what he's saying. This vessel is the replacement for that vessel that he never sold, or he did sell. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. But that vessel was it was basically laid up mid-construction. We showed you some photographs in the last video, or in a previous video when we talked about Amadea, of the vessel outside the Lurssen shipyard. One of them was when Lurssen had a fire and the vessel was just sat there. And we got some other photos as well of the vessel. And the vessel's just been put into on the hard and just left because they couldn't finish the construction because of sanctions against Mr. Kutenitov. Well, we just saw on social media that vessel is now apparently going to go back into production. So that suggests that a sale of some sort may have taken place. One of these sales where the government sort of controls the sale, puts the money into escrow, because the person's sanctioned, therefore he can't technically sell it. So the government allows it to be sold. The money goes into escrow until such times as it can be given to the seller, i.e. when the sanctions are lifted and down the road in the future. These are usually pretty good deals for the people who buy them because obviously there's a link to this person and they usually get it for a reduced price. Well, this vessel wasn't even finished. And it's only a 62-metre yacht. But that vessel is going back into construction, apparently. We've contacted Lurssen, asked them for reasons why, but they never give us a reason. They just say privacy policy dictates that we can't tell you. So that's what we always get from Lurssen, but they haven't even responded to our queries yet as well. But if we get anything, we'll let you know. But that vessel may or may not have changed hands based on the fact that she's going back into construction. I got another story here. Motor-Yacht Dreamboat is for sale. It's not the Love Boat, it's Dream Boat. This vessel has been put up for sale. It's on the Burgess website. It doesn't give a price. 90 metre or 295 300-foot yacht. Has a gross tonnage of just shy of 3,000. Can carry 22 guests. And it was completed in 2019 for a chap called Arthur Blank. Now, if you're from the US, you might know that name. He is one of the co-founders of Home Depot, or Home Depot, as they say in the US. If you see the name on the stern of the vessel, it says Dream Boat, but AMB is in large letters, and that's his initials, Arthur Blank, and his middle name, which I can't remember. I'll put it on screen. But that's the reason why it has that layout of the name on the stern there. Now, he's not just a co-founder of Home Depot. He is also the owner of the Atlanta Falcons NFL team and the Atlanta United FC football team. And one thing that you should know, this is just a bit of trivia, and a lot of people think that B&Q, which is the largest DIY store in the UK, a lot of people think that it's owned by Home Depot, and that's because of the layout and the color schemes of their logos and stuff like that. They are not owned. It's not the same people. Arthur Blank does not own B&Q. So just want to put that out there. Not related to the story at all. It's just something that came up when I was doing research. Now, why would you sell your boat that's called a Dream Boat? Because obviously it's your dream boat, right? Well, one of the reasons why a billionaire puts his yacht up for sale most often is because he's building another bigger boat. Another dream boat is currently in build, and Mr. Blank is no different to most other billionaires. The new vessel is Project Y726, and it's being built by Ocean Co, who built this first one, by the way. The boat he's selling now was completed in 2019, and his new vessel is currently under build. So he must have ordered the new boat when the current boat was barely delivered, which sometimes happens. Sometimes they even order a new boat when that one's not even completed. So the crazy world of billionaires and their super yachts. Now, we don't know what the gross tonnage will be on the new boat, but we know that the new boat will be 109 meters versus 90 meters. Most likely, 109 meters is 357 feet. Most likely the vessel will be over 3,000 gross tons. This is one of the magic numbers in yachting. When you go over 3,000 gross tons, you go into a different class of build, and it needs more money for regulations and things like that. Another one is 3,000 kilowatts. That puts you in another class, and another one is over 12 guests. That puts you in another class as well. So these are all things that when you often see a vessel that is under 3,000 gross tons and has only 12 guests, or has 3,000 kilowatts, those are the reasons why. So that they go up in class and they become, a lot more expensive to build. So this new vessel, 109 meters, probably going to be 4,000 gross tons and above, maybe 5,000, maybe even more. Now, the price of Dream Boat currently, even though it's not posted on the Burgess website, is, we're told, $195 million, which is, according to some brokers we spoke to, is rather steep. Now, what sometimes billionaires do, I say often like it's a lot of it going on, but what I've seen happen in the past is they're expecting a new boat, and they want to put the old boat on the market, or the current boat on the market, so they post it on the market, but they don't want to sell it too quickly because the new boat's not ready. So they put it on the market so people know it's for sale, but they put the price up at a ridiculous amount. If somebody decides they want to buy it, then great, they get an absolute ridiculous amount for it. But most likely people will just wait, or the offers will come in lower, but most likely they won't get many offers at that price. And then when the new vessel's getting closer to being delivered, then the price starts to come down. And in the meantime, people know it's for sale. So that's possibly why the price is so ridiculous, or it's unlikely he doesn't realize what it's worth, right? So you don't become a billionaire by being a fool. Quick word on build dates. Something that came up in the previous video is I said that the vessel was completed in 2014, or built in 2014. And then in that story, I said that the reason why the regulations didn't apply to this vessel is because it was built before the regulations, which was 2012. Well, a vessel takes a number of years to build, you know, 3 to 5 years, depending on the size. It could be less than that if it's a smaller boat. The reason I said that in the previous video is that the keel was laid in 2012, which means they started building the vessel in 2012. So when you lay the keel, that's whatever regulations are in place at that time, that's what will apply to your vessel. If the new regulation comes out in 2014, your vessel was built under 2012 regulations. So that's something that to pay attention to when we say a vessel was built in. What we're giving you is the delivery date, because obviously if it takes 3 to 5 years to build, we can't say it was built between 2017 and 2021, right? It's too confusing. So when I say it was built in, it means it was delivered on that date or completed. All right, guys, that's all I've got for you for today. Please be sure to check out our Patreon page, patreon.com/eSysMan. Just posted 2 videos over the weekend on there. One of them is a patron chat, which is patron chat number 59 now. And the other one is a car video, which actually will go on to the other eSysMan channel, the eSysMan Tech channel, on Wednesday. But if you want to see that, you can check it out on the Patreon channel if you sign up. Also, if you've got any information for us, you want to send to us about any of these stories here or any other stories that we haven't covered, please be sure to get in touch. Also, you can get us in the email address in the ticker. You can get us on the About page of YouTube, get us on Instagram, on Facebook Messenger, on X, as it's now called. I'm slowly coming over to the new name. And you can also get us on Threema as well. Be sure to like the video, very important for the algorithm. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell for future notifications. All right, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch up with you soon. Bye-bye.